I am 61 years old, and I went in for a routine checkup thinking it was my cholesterol. It wasn't. What that test revealed told me more about my 32-year marriage than my husband ever did. My doctor told me something that should have been impossible for my life. I was 60 years old. I had been with one man for 32 years, and I was sitting in that office being told that my body was carrying something I never consented to carry. I didn't find out from him. After 3 decades of marriage, my husband was not the one who told me. Let that settle for a second, because that detail, not the thing itself, but how I found out, is what I still think about at 3 a.m. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up just enough so this makes sense. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. Religious family. You trusted God, you trusted your husband, and you didn't ask too many questions. That was the shape of a good life, and I believed it completely. I met Raymond at 23. He drove trucks. My mother wasn't thrilled, but he was quiet and steady and made me feel like I mattered. We got married the next spring. For 32 years, he was on the road most of the week. I raised our daughter, kept the house, worked part-time at the school district. A normal life. A real one. Or so I thought. Here's the thing about the life I was living. I thought I knew every corner of it. I was wrong. It started with a routine physical. I had just turned 60. My doctor suggested a more comprehensive panel. At this age, we like to check everything. I wasn't worried. I sat in the paper-covered chair and I was thinking about what to make for dinner. She called me back 4 days later and said she wanted to go over the results in person. I drove over thinking, my cholesterol. It must be the cholesterol. It wasn't the cholesterol. She was calm. She was kind. And what she told me had no place anywhere in the map I had built of my own life. My test had come back positive for HIV. I was 60 years old, one man, 32 years, and my body was telling me a story my husband never had. I drove home and I sat in my kitchen for 2 hours without moving. That's the thing about news like that. It doesn't come with instructions. You just sit there while everything you thought was solid starts to vibrate, and then I didn't expect this. I started to think, not emotionally, logically, like I was reading a document I'd seen 100 times, except now I had new information and suddenly the words meant something different. The phone calls he took in the garage. I'd assumed it was work. I never asked. The trips that ran 2 or 3 days longer than scheduled, with explanations just reasonable enough that I never pushed. The way he had stopped reaching for me sometime around the mid-2000s, and I had told myself that was just marriage, just time, just what happens. I had told myself a story about the distance between us, and that story had been kind to both of us. Too kind. I wasn't naive. I was trusting. I need you to understand the difference because I spent a long time confusing those two things. I called Raymond that evening and told him we needed to talk when he got home. 2 days later, he walked through the door. I was already sitting at the kitchen table. In the middle of it, one piece of paper, my lab results. He didn't say anything for a long time. That silence told me most of what I needed to know. What came out over the next hour wasn't the confession I had imagined. No breakdown, no tears, no begging. It was quieter than that. It was a man standing in a doorway he'd kept closed for years, finally caught in the light. He had been with other women on the road. His word was relationships. at least one that lasted years, that he called serious. He said he had thought about leaving more than once. He never left. He kept coming home to me, and he had not, thus were his words, considered carefully enough what that meant for my body. I did not scream at him. I had spent 2 days imagining that I would, but sitting in our kitchen in the house where we had raised our daughter, with 32 years in every single corner of that room, I just looked at him. What I felt wasn't rage. It was something harder to name. The specific grief of discovering that something you loved was built on a different foundation than the one you were told. Like the house was always a different house and you just didn't know it. He asked if I would consider staying. I told him I didn't know yet. That was true. But somewhere that night I did know. Not because I stopped loving him. Love doesn't work that way. And if you've been married long enough, you know that. I knew I wasn't staying because the life I had been living wasn't fully real, and you cannot rebuild something real on a foundation that was always something else. We divorced 18 months later. Quiet, legal, not cruel. He moved closer to his sister. I sold the house. I'm in a smaller place now, near my daughter, and I'm on medication that manages what I carry in my body. My numbers are good. I have a doctor I see every 3 months. I am 61 years old, and I am well. I want to say that clearly, because I know what people assume. Treatment today is not what it was in 1990. I am okay. Genuinely, in ways I could not have predicted, okay. But there is something my daughter doesn't know. She knows about the divorce. She knows her father was unfaithful. She and Raymond have had their own hard conversations that I've stayed out of. What she doesn't know is the full picture, the medical part, the depth of what his choices brought into my body. I made a decision early on that this story was mine to tell or not to tell. She's 34. She loves her father the way children love parents who have failed them. Complicated, still attached, still grieving what they needed him to be. I didn't want to be the thing that broke that completely, but I'm still not sure I made the right call. On the days when I think about it clearly, she's an adult. She deserves the truth about her own family. The argument for telling her isn't about punishing Raymond. It's simpler than that. People who love each other deserve the real version of things. And then there's the other side. Some truths, once spoken, cannot be unspoken. Her father is getting older. She's building her life. I'm stable. What does she actually gain? And what does she carry? If she knows, I haven't resolved it. Some days I pick up my phone and start composing a message that would open that door. Other days I set it back down. What I know is this. I am not the woman who sat in that paper-covered chair not knowing. I know my body now. I know my voice. I know the difference between trust and disappearing into someone else's version of your life. I trusted Raymond with my life. That is not a metaphor. And I am still here. That isn't either. If I could say one thing to any woman who has built her life around the belief that love is protection enough, it's this. Love is real, and it matters. And it is not enough by itself. Knowing what you are owed, knowing your own body, knowing when to ask questions, that's not the opposite of love. That's what makes love something you can survive. I don't know what the right answer is with my daughter. I think about her face. I think about that phone on my kitchen counter. Some days, the answer feels obvious. Other days, there is no right answer, just a choice and the weight you carry with it. Maybe you know what you do. Maybe you're sitting somewhere right now and you have a clear answer. Does a mother protect her child from a truth that can't be undone? Or does she give her daughter the real story of her own family and let her decide what to do with it? I genuinely don't know which one of you is right.